Nice overcast kind of day. A little busy at this juncture here. One of those places you definitely want to keep your head on a swivel. Got some people that gun it through the parking lots. They ain't paying attention. They're distracted, what have you. Let me go ahead and get moving out of here before someone jumps in front of me. That's a precarious exit. So you got the railroad tracks there, and you got a bit of an incline. It's kind of a little demonstration of, the different conditions you'll come across on the road. Mainly, decided to start doing these videos. I just wanted to kind of give a little bit of perspective for new riders or people who are thinking about riding, as I'm still a relatively new rider myself, trying to get my bearings, learn the ins and outs, get some experience under my belt. The way I see it, I'm always going to be a new rider. I'm always going to be learning. When you get into that mentality that, you mastered, whatever craft you're working on, be it carpentry or, working on guitar as a musician, or just something simply as riding or driving, I think you hit that pinnacle. That's when you set yourself up for failure. If you're not open to learning and growing, then, that's when disaster can happen. So you get blindsided. But yeah, this road's full of all these four-way intersections. You got no lights. You have stop signs on either side, but they don't always stop for oncoming traffic or look. So you always got to assume that they don't see you. That's one of them golden rules, I'll say, of riding. Just assume they do not see you. Assume they don't hear you. They don't know you're there. Now, definitely save you from a lot of close calls. Hopefully save you from an accident or two. And then that kind of brings me to another rule. Give the right of way. There are vehicles larger than yours. Motorcycle versus car, SUV, truck. It's not a safe bet. It's one of those things when you're on the road, you're riding, you gotta set your pride aside, set your emotions aside. You gotta, keep a clear head, keep calm, and just, let things roll, let things pass. So, that being part of it, just let the other person have the right of way. Even if you feel like you were there first, you should go first. Having conflict on the road's just one of those things you don't want to have. You get mad at another driver, you gotta let it go. Never ride angry. That's another good rule. Don't ride angry. Majority of the stuff that you hear me talking about, I'm basically regurgitating odds and ends I picked up from other moto vloggers, teachers, other riders. So chances are you probably heard this stuff before, but I really think that it needs to be repeated, it needs to be out there, it needs to be easily accessible. So even though there's tons of people that do moto vlogging and have instructional videos up, you could never have too much. Of course, always double check your sources. If some don't sound right to you, it sounds kind of hokey, look it up. It never hurts to cross-examine information. But yeah, those are some pretty good rules. Assume that the other motorists do not see you, they don't know you're there. Give the right of way. Don't ride angry. Don't ride upset. If your head's not in a good space, maybe it's a good day to sit it out or go take the car or walk. When you're having an emotional moment, you get tunnel vision, or you skip a step. You're not in your full faculties, so you tend to make more mistakes that way. I know from experience. Someone cuts you off, almost hits you. Yeah, it's scary. You gotta let it go. Learn from it. In those situations, more often than not, I tend to assume that there was something that I could have done differently, or something I shouldn't have done that would have helped me avoid a situation. Unfortunately, there's some things you just can't avoid. Another key thing, situational awareness. You always want to be aware of what's going on around you, what's behind you. Like, intersections like this can be very tricky. Like, even though everyone's at a stop, you get the green light. It's not a guarantee that the people from the other sides have all came to a stop. All it takes is that one guy that decides he was barreling through, or he just wasn't paying attention and noticed the right light turned red. So I try to make sure to see that everyone in the corresponding lanes have came to a stop, so that way I can proceed safely. Oop. Getting a little distracted here. That's another thing, don't ride distracted. I'll get back up to speed here before I start hemming things up on the road, irritating these drivers. One thing they hate around here is slow drivers. A lot of people like to gun it, hot dog it. That's okay if they want to. Not exactly trying to keep up with them with their speeding, but just kind of keep at a good pace so I'm not slowing anyone down, or someone ends up halfway up my backside because they misjudged how fast or how slow I was going. It's a little misty out here still. Another thing I like to stress, try to keep good distance between the guy in front of you and yourself. Because you never know when they're suddenly going to slam on the brakes, something goes on in front of them and they stop suddenly or slow down abruptly. You don't want to kill yourself, trying to pull back on the reins and slow down. It's not good for your brakes. Definitely not good for your tires. I mean, if you got ABS, it's a godsend. But you don't want to be reliant upon that. Pretty scary when you're fishtailing because you pull back on them brakes too much and end up locking up. Been there once before. Well, looks like I'm about to hit my stop here. Oh, come on. You can make it. Well, I'm going to go ahead and sign off, guys. I appreciate you taking a look at the video, and hopefully I'll have more soon to come as well.